Hello everybody, Sean McMahon here. So today I want to look at a prophecy that doesn't always get a lot of attention. It's Isaiah chapter 1 verse 26. It's a short one. I want to talk about how it was fulfilled in the first century by Jesus Christ and his church. Now this prophecy reads, I will restore your judges as at first, and your counselors as at the beginning. After that you will be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. End quote. Simple, short. So this is a promise to restore the judges of Israel. Now this is interesting because when we think of biblical prophecy, we usually think not of the restoration of the judges, but of the kingdom, right? In Luke 17 verse 20, the Pharisees want to know when the kingdom would come, not judges would be restored. In Acts 1 verse 7, after Christ's resurrection, before his ascension, the disciples ask him when he's going to restore the kingdom to Israel, not the judges. So where's the burning curiosity about restoring the judges to Israel? And what would it even mean to restore the judges as at the first and the counselors as at the beginning, as Isaiah 1:26 says? Well, what does it mean by at the first? What does it mean by at the beginning? Where do we find the beginning of the judges of Israel? Well, we find the beginning of the judges of Israel in Numbers chapter 11. It's the story where the people are complaining to Moses that they're starving, as they always are. They're always taking issue with Moses and this whole thing, this whole Exodus program. So they're starving. Moses goes to God and he complains to God saying, listen, I can't take care of all these people and I'm overwhelmed myself. I can't do this on my own. And so God says, and I'm going to quote verses 16 and 17 of Numbers 11, God says, bring me 70 of the elders of Israel, known to you as leaders and officers of the people. Bring them to the tent of meeting and have them stand there with you. And I will come down and speak with you there, and I will take some of the spirit that's on you and put that spirit on them. They will help you bear the burden of the people so that you do not have to bear it by yourself. And that's verse 16 through 17. So Moses enlists 70 elders to help him administer the government of Israel. And these were the first judges of Israel. Now, what happened to these judges? Why would they need to be restored, right? Well, what happened was King Saul. The prophet who anointed Saul king was a judge named Samuel. And he was the last judge in the land. So the first king ended the era of the judges, which sets an interesting precedent, right? See how kings and judges are connected. Now, if the dawn of the kingdom brought with it the end of the judges, why should the restoration of the kingdom at the end of the age also be accompanied by restoration of the judges, right? Because the kingdom ended the judges, right? So is there some other biblical precedent we can look to that explains Isaiah's prophecy about the restoration of the judges? Absolutely. In Deuteronomy chapter 17, verses 8 through 9, the law states, if a case is too difficult for you to judge, whether the controversy within your gates is regarding bloodshed, lawsuits, or assaults, you must go up to the place the Lord your God will choose, and you are to go to the Levitical priests and to the judge who presides at that time. See how the priest and judge are connected. It says, inquire of them, and they will give you a verdict in the case. Now take note of two things here. One, the law says that you must go to the judge who presides at the time. Well, so this shows us that the law assumes that there will be a judge to preside over legal matters at the time. Well, what time? Well, apparently, at least as long as the law is in effect, right? Well, how long will the law be in effect? As long as the covenant thereof is in effect and the priesthood thereof is in effect, since it's the priesthood who administers the law of the covenant. And this is the central thrust of the epistles of the New Testament. I'm summarizing, but especially Hebrews, which tells in particular that when the priesthood is changed, the law must be changed as well, right? Remember that? That's in Hebrews 7, verse 12. Well, Hebrews tells us that Christ is the new high priest of Israel. Remember the connection between the judges and the high priest? So he's the new high priest after the order of Melchizedek. So it was then Christ's job to administer the new covenant and its law, just like Moses in his time, who was a Levite, right? Moses was the administrator of the old covenant and its law. Okay, but now Christ is the new Moses. Now look what Christ does in Luke 10, verse 1, it says, "After these things the Lord appointed another 70 also, and sent them 2 by 2 before his face into every city and place whither he himself would come." Right? So Christ did exactly what Moses did. He appointed judges over Israel. And it's explicit that they're judges because he charges them with a ministry of judgment, which is recorded in the subsequent verses of that chapter. They're going to proclaim the kingdom. The kingdom. Whoever believes is saved, and whoever is not is condemned. Christ says whoever believes in him and the Son is not condemned, but whoever does not believe has already been condemned because he has not believed in the name of God's one and only Son. That's John 3, verse 18. And so Christ, in this chapter of Luke, he proclaims woes of judgment on those cities who don't believe. He says, "Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida," etc., right? And so we see that during his ministry, Christ demonstrably reconstituted the 70 judges or elders of Israel. Great. Prophecy fulfilled, right? Absolutely. But there's a problem. There already was, at the time, just such a body of elders in Israel at the time. They were called the Sanhedrin. And this is where the story gets very interesting. So stick around. Part 2 is going to come in hot. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this study with lots of people. This is going to be a very interesting study. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot. God bless you all. Peace.